Okay, when you're adding your walls, you can start by typing WA or under architecture, select wall. Okay, select the wall type. So you have your wall family. So these are families. These are the different types of wall. So let's start with this basic wall right here. You can edit that type and edit the structure or layers. You'll see here that you have normally your structural membrane placed inside the core boundary. So that function of that layer that's the structure or structural membrane. Okay, then you have your substrate. Normally this will start with the number 1 and goes up to number 4 or 5. So 4 or 5 will be your finished material. Okay, so that's for the function. And then here you have your material. So you can click on it and change the material by clicking on that button. So if you want to change the material or the function here, and then the thickness. That's how you create your wall system. Now, if you're changing any of your wall system or the default wall system, you need to do what first? Duplicate. So that's an important step in Revit. So I want you to adjust this a little bit by duplicating. Now, normally you would place your initials in front so you can easily identify the wall type that you have created. Okay, and normally you want to delete the number 2 at the end, which Revit automatically plays. So rename by clicking duplicate, or sorry, duplicate by clicking duplicate and add your initial. Now that you've duplicated this, so you'll see that the type is now under your name or with your initial. So that still belongs to the basic wall family with this type. Okay. Then you click on edit and kindly just change some values here. Okay. Okay, maybe some materials, and then click OK. So here, instead of just changing the material, let's change some of the characteristic of this wall. So I'll just click preview, and this is very important. If preview is not turned on, the modify buttons will be grayed out. So you need to click preview, and not only click preview, you have to be in the section preview mode. So this is the floor plan mode. You need to go to the section modify type attribute mode. Okay. Then you'll see that this will be enabled. Now here, notice that you actually have a very complicated wall system. You have a wall system where the face of the wall has sweeps and reveals. It has a parapet cap at the top, and it also has a different type of wall here somewhere, or design here somewhere at the top. So how do you do those things? Number 1, you click on your modify tab. Okay. And then you can split a region. So that's what this did. Split the region to be able to cut the wall system into 2 separate parts. Okay. Now when you're clicking or separating or splitting this, you need to hover over or near the edge. You'll see that line. You can click on it, and that cuts this brick into several parts or 2 parts. Okay. Okay, so split and place this or hover. Okay. Now, when you do that, you can modify the height, since normally you won't be at the exact height. You can click on modify and then click on that line segment that you have created. That's the split line. Once you have done that, you can then click on the value and put an exact number. Okay. So again, modify, click on the line segment, click on the dimension value, and type maybe an exact value. Okay. So that's how you split the material. Okay. Now, why would you want to split the material? Then you can assign, once split, you can assign finish material on that layer. Okay. Right now, we're not going to do that. Yeah, so to change the value, you need to modify, click on modify, and then select the line segment. Oops, sorry, modify, and then select the line segment. And then click on the value. So modify, click on the line segment, and then click on the value. Click on the segment, then click on the value. Okay, so click OK. So we've learned how to split a layer. That's okay for now. Click OK and click OK. Now, to design the building, you need to simply add a wall. You can place it either using the wall center line justification, or if you want to, you can say from the finish face interior, with an offset of, let's say you want an offset here of a certain value. So let's say 0.5. Okay. If you do that, then you can select the grid, and notice that your line or wall will be offset by 0.5 from the grid. Okay, so if you measure this, modify, measure, that will be your 0.5. Okay, if you don't want an offset, then you can simply say architecture wall, no offset. You have your chain. This will be finished face interior. Okay. Now, if I start at the top and go down, notice that the exterior face of the wall is inward or inside the building. So I can press the space bar to toggle or switch the orientation of the wall. Okay. So space bar. So again, I can have an offset if I need to, or I can simply create my wall system. Okay. Okay. Your wall system, as we learned last time, starts at a certain point. So here you can start at the first floor. You can do an offset, and then it can go or end up to maybe your second floor with a top offset. So depends on your design. So you can always start from the first floor and go up to the second floor. Normally when we create walls, right, I can create a wall here, and the corners will be joined. If they don't join together, so let's say I have a wall here, space bar to reorient. If I have a wall there, I can always trim the two so that they will join. So I can say trim, TR, so that they join at the intersection. So that's how you create a wall in Revit. Okay, you can go to a 3D view. Okay, so this is higher because we didn't say top constraint, or we didn't specify the top constraint, but I can easily select that wall and say go up to, or constrain this up to the second floor. Okay, I can do the same here. I can select one, hold down the control key, and constrain that to the second floor. Okay, so you can change the value. Now this design has a parapet cap at the top. If you want to change that, you can always select a new one. Okay, so select and change. So you have those options.